Over these last days, it's been repeated that we've had to be divine scientists and divine physicists and divine alchemists. But we know that scientists, and particularly physicists, love to create equations or formulae. So there have been several formulae made over these last days. And the last one that's been created is one that begins with the state of Satchitananda, or existence, knowledge and bliss. And we add a plus to that. And after that plus we have a question mark. And after that question mark we have an equals, and then we have another question mark. But this first question mark was discussed on Thursday, and it was decided that it could be receptivity. If we have Satchitananda plus receptivity equals. But I want to throw a little spanner in the works of this and see what comes up for us, and with these little stories be able to find an equals. But first of all, we all recognize that this state of Satchitananda, or existence, knowledge and bliss, can only be present now. That place where the body, the mind and the spirit are united, where existence, knowledge and bliss come together to make that state that is called Satchitananda. Now, if we add our plus to that, and we first of all have our question mark, there's a story about a great abbot, Shaolin abbot, one of those monks who have mastered the art of martial arts. Now, this great abbot was renowned throughout all of the lands and other lands. He'd never been bested in any conflict at all. But as it happened, there was, at a certain time, a rogue monk who was going around the countryside bragging and boasting about his prowess in the martial arts. And in fact, he had proved that he could not be beaten by anyone that he had been accosted by. He even got so inflated that he wanted to challenge the abbot of the great monastery himself. So it came to the ears of the abbot, and he said, "Yes, I'll fight him, I'll fight him." So the young monk was invited, and all of the monks from the monastery and people from far around gathered to see this meeting of this young man of great prowess and this very, very old master. Well, the young man faced off with the abbot, and he started to abuse him. He used all the swear words that he could find. He got up close to him and spat in his face. He postured in front of him with his sword. But the abbot made no move at all. And so the young monk went on using all of the expletives that he could find and gather, plus all of the feints that he could use to try to engage the old abbot. But the old abbot was unmoved. Finally, after some hours, the young monk was totally exhausted. And so, rather humbly, he gave up and bowed in front of the old abbot and went on his way. Now all of those who were gathered around were rather disappointed that there was no battle here. And so they said to the old abbot, well, what did you do to beat him? And that's a question for you. So there's questions upon questions. And then there's another little story in the same vein. There was a great samurai lord in the Japanese tradition, but he was also somewhat of a follower of Zen. So he decided that he was going to build a temple in honor of his ancestors. So he needed someone to take over the temple for him. So it was suggested to him that he hire a certain young monk who was in fact the abbot of a very unknown and small monastery temple quite far out in the country. He wasn't well known at all. And the master samurai thought to himself, well, I don't want an unknown taking over. This is a very illustrious position to take over the abbacy of my temple. I'll have to test him. So he invited the young monk abbot to his mansion, and when the young monk was guided in by a servant, there was no greeting from the master swordsman himself, and he was merely ushered into a room that had a door that led to another chamber. So the young monk walked through the doorway, and the master samurai jumped out with a sword in his hand and raised it above his head, and he said to the young monk, "How does it feel to face death?" Young monk made no response. He merely ducked under the sword and tickled the samurai swordsman under the arm. The samurai swordsman swung round and said, "That was a very, very foolish move to make, wasn't it?" And the young monk smiled and responded. What did the young monk respond to the samurai swordsman? So here we have the second part of our equation, and it has to be answered from our own experience now, and it has to arise out of this state that we're experiencing, where our body, our mind and our spirit are united, present, attentive, receptive, now. Always now. But what about this equals sign? There was a young seeker after enlightenment. He'd gone all over the lands, far off lands, to find a master. And finally, he heard of a certain Sufi master. And he came into his presence. And he said, "Please, can I travel with you a while to see what it is that you do? What is your relationship with the events of life?" And the Sufi master said to the young man, "It would do you no good to come with me because you still have conditioning of your mind." "Oh," said the young man, "I'll do whatever it is that you say, and I will try my best just to be with you." So the Sufi master said, "In that case, you may accompany me, but I must make one rule, that you do not ask me what it is that has been done." So they set off on their travels, and before very long they came to a river that has to be crossed. And so they got in the ferry boat. And while they were in the ferry boat, the Sufi master secretly put a hole in the bottom of the boat. And the young seeker was shocked. He couldn't help himself. He said, what did you do this for? The people will drown. And the Sufi master said, was it not said to you that you should not question what is done? You see, you are coming from your conditioned mind. Oh, said the seeker, please, I'm sorry, I promise I won't do it again. So they went on a ways further, and they came to another kingdom. And when they came to that kingdom, they were greeted by the king, the monarch himself, invited to festivities and invited out on a hunt. And on the hunt, there went along the young son, the prince, the son of the king. But while they were riding out, the Sufi master said to the seeker who was riding behind him, quickly, bring that boy. And they rode their horses fast, so they came to a thicket, branches that separated them from the main party of the hunt. And the young boy was taken down from his horse, and his leg twisted and broken. And the Sufi master said, come, quickly now. And they left the boy in the thicket and rode their horses until they were outside that kingdom. The seeker was shocked, and again he could not help himself. He said, how could you do that? How could you do that? That king was so kind to us. These people were so kind to us. Sufi master said, I must do what I must do. And again, I remind you that it was said that you should not question what is done. Again, you are coming from your conditioning and projection of your mind. Oh, the young seeker apologized again. I'm so sorry, Master. I promise, if I break this rule again, please dismiss me. So they moved on further, and they came to a city where they sought comfort for the night and food, but they were given none. Even wild dogs were set upon them, so they had to run outside the city gates. Tired, thirsty, and hungry, outside the city gates, part of the walls of the city had broken down, and the Sufi master said, come, quickly, we must rebuild this wall. So they toiled. They made bricks out of straw and mud to repair the wall of the city. Exhausted, totally spent, the seeker had no resistance to his mind, which again questioned the master. How could you? Firstly, you put a hole in the ship of he who was giving us help to take us to the other side. And then you broke the ankle of the son of a king who gave us hospitality. And now, when we're beset by evil people who know no good or hospitality, you repay them by repairing their city wall. The Sufi master responded and said, was it not said to you that you could not learn from this travel because of the conditioning of your mind? But let me tell you before I dismiss you the reason why the hole was put in the boat was that there was a tyrant who was usurping all of the ships and boats to be used to invade other countries, and this would disenable him from using this vessel. Secondly, the boy whose ankle was broken would have become a tyrant who would take over the lands around him, treating the people cruelly, but because there is a law in that kingdom that only a perfect being can take the monarchy, there is no chance that he could grow to become the tyrant that he would have. And thirdly, in this city of those who have lost the way of doing good and giving kindness and hospitality, there are 2 orphans. Under this wall is their heritage, and when they are grown, the wall will crumble, and they will find what it is that will enable them to change the ways of this city and its people. Now you are dismissed. Maybe at a later time you can take a journey such as this again, but to do so you must lose all that you have gathered that will bring forth those perceptions and conditioned thinkings that disallow you from doing what is there for you to do. So we have our equation, Satchitananda plus, what do you make out of these 2 stories, one of the Shaolin monks and the other of the Zen samurai? What is it from your experience has arisen from that state where in the present moment our body, our mind and our spirit, existence, life, knowledge, all that we've learned, and the bliss of the realization of the interrelatedness and oneness of all things come together in the moments, bringing a state of Satchitananda. What is it that arises out of this state in the moments of life, the immediacy? What is presented to life in this state? It was called receptivity on Thursday. But what do these 2 little anecdotes connote for us? What is it about you now, when you're confronted with a situation, maybe threatening?
Just accepting the now.
All right, acceptance. Acceptance. But what was it that produced in these 2? The old abbot, unfazed, seemingly untouched by the abuse, and the young monk who was threatened quickly with death, but was unmoved.
Is it being at peace within themselves?
Yes, we know Satchitananda is a state of peace, presence, attention. But what is it that is presented? Acceptance?
No fear.
Fearlessness, yes. fearlessness, isn't it? But what else is there? What else is it about this abbot and this monk that you can find in your own lives now rising out of this state?
Knowingness is coming to me.
Yes.
A sense of, I don't always know with my head what is happening, but sometimes I know what to say or what to do without needing to.
Yes. So we have this phenomena because it embraces all of time and all of dimensions, that they all come together. That's this state of Satchitananda. But the ultimate question that's been asked over these days is, what is your relationship with life now? Or what is life's relationship with us now in that state? So these stories are for the purpose of eliciting that answer. But this is why this equation has been made.
Maybe standing in your own truth as well.
Yes.
Reacting, but
Absolutely.
standing back and
Yes.
remaining in your own truth.
Yes. So you can use all of these words to describe this state, isn't it?
For me, it's like it's just a moment.
Yes.
It's the moment that's happening now,
That's
and that's not always going to be.
no. No. It's always now. But because this is in the state of Satchitananda, it's still. You can even say it is receptive, because there's no projection, there's no expectation.
It's like a total surrender.
Yes, sir.
I remember just from experience when I had my car accident and I woke up and I saw the pole coming in front of me, and I went into a complete bliss. I don't know what it was, and I just let myself hit the pole, but it was just complete, no fear. I just remember that feeling of never being so peaceful in my life.
Yes.
And it was in the moment of complete surrender, like I was gone.
Yes. Right.
And this one crashed in the same spot 5 years later.
Oh my goodness. Repeating the oh my. Did you have a similar experience from that? Was there anything arose from that experience similar to you?
You fell asleep too, didn't you?
Sleeping
You
at us.
rolled the car twice and just opened the door and got out.
Oh wow, yes. Yeah.
Not attachment to the outside either.
It's not yes, it's not there, no.
See, most people have that expectation.
Projections. The projections of mind. And it is about mind. So again, of course we could rephrase that. What is our state of mind in a state of Satchitananda?
It's non-conditioned.
Non-conditioned, yes. Non-conditioned.
Isn't it what you were calling at the beginning, years ago, the pure mind?
Pure mind, yes, you can say so, yes.
Nothing to be threatened.
No.
She said, I was gone. It's true, I was gone.
Yes, I was gone. The ego was gone. There's just mind.
It's just like coming from a void, isn't it?
Yes,
Because there's nothing there.
nothing there.
So people are asking, oh, why do you know everybody wants to know what you're going to do now.
Yes. Yes.
I said, I have absolutely
No idea.
No point five.
Exactly. But to answer this question is needed before we can know and answer the question, what is our relationship with life now and life's relationship with us? So we'll continue to endeavor to complete this equation, being the good divine scientists and physicists that we are. Stick with it tenaciously until we get the answer, knowing that it's life and our own experiences that are going to bring it. It's not a question of solving these stories. It's etc., etc. It's to evoke in us the experiences and awarenesses that will allow us to do so. So, is it work? It's not work. But it will be work in a few weeks' time when we do the workshop. Then it's your turn to work. Thank you.